Hey everyone, Skago here. Going to do a bottom lane video. We have Caitlyn, Lux versus Varus and Janna. This lane turns out pretty even. Slight advantage goes to Caitlyn and Lux. We have jungles. We have Xin Shao and Hecarim. So as far as laning goes, the range advantage, Varus is one of the few people who can deal with the Caitlyn range, and both supports come with a shield, so you got shields going both ways. The attack damage boost that comes from Janna and the repel that comes are pretty nice. Varus can ult onto someone, lock him in place, and Janna can pop him up, so that's pretty good. The disengage advantage probably goes in favor of Janna, just with their ultimate, just really good. But the early pushing ability to get towers and then go for other towers goes in advantage of Caitlyn over Varus. And Caitlyn can get out of bad situations easier than Varus can. So that's sort of how I see the matchup. But if Lux lands her snare, then you have more potential for a kill. So Lux has that snare potential if Caitlyn, and she has the range to really follow up with stuff. So you're able to push harder, which gives you that laning advantage because you'll hit the level ups faster. And if you get that experience advantage, then you can level up and really do a lot and keep pressure advantage. But Varus can return his Q range, his auto attack range, his I believe it's his E that shoots back. I think his W is his kind of passive auto attack bonus damage that can proc more if you have hit your E and your Q or whatever. It can proc out Blight more. It's like his Blight that does more damage. Anyhow, I didn't really look him up. I played him. I just don't know off the top of my head exactly how that functions. But so Caitlyn just has the range, and her traps can make her safer. She can make it, if you step on it, that works as a snare. It kind of stuns them for a little bit. And then Lux has her trap, a slow, a shield, and then her laser can really finish people off. So you have a lot of kill potential in this lane. And she has quite a bit of poke. She's kind of fun to play. And that's what you go. She's fun to play, but you can snare that. You see Hecarim coming through the ward. So this is a gank through the ward. And the slow right there gets Caitlyn safe. Unfortunately, they just turn their attention to Lux, and Lux is not safe. So, unfortunately for Lux, the knockback from Hecarim, if she could have landed her snare on him, she probably could have walked back and been safe, but he knocked her back instead. So right there, what you would do if you were Lux, and then walking back, we didn't see Hecarim disengage, so that kind of was bound to happen, but Varus goes and engages and gets himself taken out there because he gets too aggressive. Caitlyn has the range advantage, and Xin Shao came in, and that's why Caitlyn didn't have to back off. So easy little double kill. Xin Shao just cleans up. Xin Shao's way strong even without items, so it was a pretty easy cleanup. And a very good idea for Caitlyn to bait it and stay in range, because he gave her 2 assists, and now all these minions are going to die to the tower, and that is going to give her the big experience advantage in the lane. And since Lux is back, she's going to be able to get this next creep wave out to the tower and then go back to base. So Lux would be able to help her disengage. That's the reason this is safe. If Lux wasn't there, it wouldn't have been safe. Then she's able to get back far enough, and with the wards out, she knew she could just leave from the middle of the lane. If there weren't wards, you would have had to go back to your tower. Just a little note. If you ever get caught there and you're like, oh, I've seen other people do it, it's because of the wards and vision. Hecarim can't do like the Jarvan tricks or the Shaco tricks and jump into that brush unseen, so no one could have gotten there that they have on their teams. Twisted Fate could have ulted and come over, and then as soon as, if Twisted Fate would ult, she would have had to like run immediately back to the tower. But other than that, she was fairly safe. So she's slightly up now, just because of the 2 assists and the 1 kill. Varus was trying to get in there, and she's only up by 6 minions, but she's up by a decent amount of creeps, or of experience right now. She's up by 2 levels, just because he lost experience to the tower. So whenever you get an advantage, it's always important, regardless of matchup, champions done, whatever, just always push to the tower and make sure that they miss as much as possible to the tower. Because if they miss the creeps to the tower while they're not there, it doesn't matter necessarily on farm, but if they're not there, then they miss the experience, and that's a big deal. Try not to walk through that blight, because then he can proc his passive off his other ability, and that does quite a bit of damage. It's kind of sneaky how quickly he does a lot of damage if you're taking that from it. And then if Lux can land her combos, they'll be just destroying people because they're ahead in items right now. So Caitlyn's already pretty tricky to deal with, and if Lux can start landing combos, they are going to be deadly at this point. And you can see Janna just... You can keep pressing the base button just to try to bait them, or see if they have it warded. If they let you base, you don't always have to base. Sometimes you do that to see if they throw out abilities. You can waste their mana, or you can see if they have a ward. You can test for wards that way, see how they respond to you basing in a brush. If they let you go or start attacking your AD carry, then it's warded. If they don't let you go, if they don't respond to it, you might know that you're safe. But if they're dodging all your stuff, here it's just Hecarim. Even with that ward, Hecarim, the fear works just interestingly. If she would have been feared and it made her run backwards, she would have lived there. Because it made her run straight forwards into the other team, it got her killed. So unfortunately for her, that got her killed. She gets her Vamp Scepter, which now she's ahead. She almost had enough for her Bloodthirster, but didn't. That would have set her way ahead. That's what she was waiting for. Unfortunately for her, she didn't get it, but the Vamp Scepter will really keep her life up, and then she was able to get a couple potions, so she'll get... She's still ahead. It's just not quite by the lead that she was at, just because of an excellent gank by Hecarim, just charging right through the lane. And then with those fear procs, it's kind of like, which direction do you run? And when you run that way, it kind of sucks. And she was never able to go out and get those traps into the brush to stop that. Hecarim at this point, you should know, it's probably around a 2-minute cooldown, maybe 100 seconds. It's right around there, depending on the CDRs that he has, CDR items, if he has blue buff, whatever. So plan on 100 to 120 seconds, depending on that, until he has a level 2 into his ult. So right now, that would be the only way he could charge through if he can't get in behind you. So you're safe for another couple minutes from that happening again. So just keep an eye on him so he doesn't come from behind. But if he can't really lane gank and overpower you the same way. Had Lux landed that, they could have had a kill. So you want to pay attention to what your Lux is landing. And then just the strong pushing abilities of Caitlyn and the safety she has with her Vamp Scepter. They're going to be able to get a lot of damage out this wave, and then do a little bit of harass onto Varus, but then on the next wave they'll be able to do it. But if you're watching what Lux is doing, every time Varus goes to farm, she's landing her slow, that little... what's the ability called? But anyways, it puts that slow and that sphere that does damage. She's putting it out and trying to use that to hit Varus for every time he tries to farm. And it's working very effectively. And so they take the tower. So before you walk out, you want to find Hecarim. Hecarim is now, he's at 3,500 to 3,200 gold. I just pulled up the gold screen, so I thought I'd talk about that. Item-wise, they're fairly even. At the moment, even though she's ahead, they just are even on items. But Hecarim was just mid, so they were able to walk up and push a little farther out, and so that they had time to buy or do golems or do something. I just thought I would point that out. That's why they were able to push safely there. If they didn't have sight of Hecarim and they walked past that tri-brush, they were asking to be killed. If you don't have sight of where Twisted Fate and Hecarim are, you cannot go out and overextend yourself. It's a very bad idea. So at this point, he's got quite a bit of gold to shop with. And since he took the tower, I'm pretty much going to be wrapping up the game. Kali goes and assassinates Twisted Fate, and hope you learned something about that lane. Take care.